It's getting right into it.
So yeah, as you're all probably hearing, this player's choosing the Japanese language because, let's be honest, it's kind of better than the dub.
It's not a lot better. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, I'll get to hear for myself.
I remember Bob even mentioning there was some weird miscasting even in this language. So, this is Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. It is a kickstarted sequel in everything but name to the Castlevania Metroidvania games.
So this is supposed to be sort of the main event of the franchise that Iga tried to kickstart, because like what we got first was a Castlevania 3 sort of in-name only sequel with Curse of the Moon.
For the record, I did not play that one. I think I saw very briefly some gameplay of it, but yeah, I didn't actually play that one.
I played it like a long time ago. I have only cleared the normal difficulty though, so I haven't seen everything that game had to offer.
What I do know is that this game is an alternate timeline from that, because it uses a lot of the same characters, but the outcomes are actually very different for them.
Yeah, the 8-bit universe and the 3D universe are, well, different universes.
I guess I'll just get right into it. This is Dawn of Sorrow 2.
Yeah,
yeah.
You'll quickly notice our player character is Shinoa, but she has Soma's powers.
It is basically, like, I don't know how much of Portrait or Ecclesia is in this game. It just feels like Dawn of Sorrow 2. It has the soul system, but they're called Shards. It has crafting, but it's way more verbose. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, Johan's here just sounds really normal.
And this is Miriam, our player character. She's just some hot lady, I guess.
She has a stained glass thing on her tit.
She has stained glass sticking out of her back.
By the way, fun fact, she's actually not the main character of the 8-bit games. She is a character you can rescue and recruit, and funnily enough, she's kind of the Belmont of the 8-bit universe. Because she uses a whip and sub-weapons.
Oh, she uses a whip in that game?
Yeah, which makes it all the more funny that whips, from what I've observed, are not very good in this game.
Yeah, they kind of suck. And they're very not Castlevania-like.
The only thing I can think of is they're designed to hit low-to-the-ground enemies while you're standing.
But you can attack downwards with everything. Even while... yeah.
We will meet the actual, like, protagonist of the 8-bit universe later. Actually, we'll meet everyone we recruit.
So yeah, I haven't played Curse, but I did play this game. Me and Arpa both played this game pretty recently.
Yep, and you cleared it, and then I cleared it.
Yeah? It was just on our backlog, and I was like, fuck it, since we're talking about so much Castlevania, I'll just start playing this. And then, here we are.
By the way, this has, aside from being kickstarted, a very similar energy to Mighty Number 9, where there's just a ton of dialogue exposition.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they went all in with getting as much out of the voice acting as possible. as awkward as a lot of the voice acting in both dubs kind of is. Okay, that one is better than the dub version, that scream. Also, that rolling splash shard, as I've shown Calexo, it is deceptively useful for the first shard you get.
Basically, every shard is good when you put the effort into leveling it up, which is similarly to Donosaro, you increase its power by getting more of them, and every enemy kinda has a unique shard. And you also are capable of upgrading them through a crafting system, which increases, like, depending on the shard type, like the utility. Like, the red ones usually increase, like, their range or spread or whatever.
Yeah, and a fully maxed Swirling Splash. It doesn't do the most damage, but it still does enough damage. But also, when you rank it up, it lasts longer, bouncing around the area. And you can have a lot of them on screen, and they cost shit for MP. Like, hardly anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what how most bosses react to a maxed up Cerulean Splash as well. But yeah, so you can just get a lot of damage per second on screen while having plenty of MP to spare, especially if you've jacked up your MP recharge rate.
Oh, and you can. There's a shitload of crafting, and probably get to it later, but you can do some permanent stat upgrades with it as well. I do want to get to the foot weapon that we have equipped, because there's this interesting thing where you innately have like a slide, and you can kick with it as well, and your slide actually deals extra damage based on your foot weapon's power if you have one equipped. So
yeah, and also it affects your dive kick when you get the double jump.
Yep.
So, as a function, think of foots as daggers but blunt. Weak base damage, but you attack rapidly, so you're going for damage per second rather than damage per hit.
You could also cheese certain enemies and bosses with the dive kick, as I was one to do. I guess we also just went through, or we kind of saw briefly the aiming mechanic. It doesn't actually get used very often, that like shit with the blue kind of texture on it, and you aim at it and it like opens up. That's like very seldomly used in this game. But what happens is you use the right stick on whatever controller you're using, and she like holds her hand out in a certain direction, and pretty soon I imagine we'll see a purple shard, which that is basically a direction-based red shard. The red, blue, and yellow from Arya are all here, but then there's a purple one, which is the aimed one, and then green, which is familiar.
Hammer has some pretty good drops if you have my sporadic bursts of luck. One of them is a helmet that offers good defense and looks hilarious in cutscenes.
Every enemy in this game has like 1 or 2 rare drops. Actually, no, they have up to like 4 different rare drops. And then they also have their shard. So there's just a ton of grinding in this game.
And also the shard that those Hammers have, that shard's kind of insane. It's like a giant ball and chain that comes out like faster than Deathmask Super from Battle Monsters. And hits like a truck.
It's like a super whip, basically.
It's what whips wish they were.
Yeah. I don't know what we're going to see in this playthrough. I do want to say that if you're wondering why I picked one that, isn't in English, that I found one that was 6.5 hours, and I found a whole bunch that were about 12, so, this is the one you're getting.
It's a testament to all the grinding that this game permits you to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so that enemy of the Mort, that's like the one basic enemy in the entire game that doesn't have a shard. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense that it would be, like, worried about it being grindable, because everything has to be grinded in this game. It's ridiculous, anyway.
So now we have the direction shards, which they are either mobility or attack shards that you can aim with the stick. I don't like that they share slots with mobility options, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, this game has a like sets thing, and we'll get to that later. But I didn't really like the way they handled it in this game. But yeah, the you saw her light a cannon wick with that ability. That's, I think, the only time you ever do something like that.
There are some other cute secrets that you do with various things, but that is like the only time you operate the cannon.
I think it's the only time you need fire for something specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like this game. I have some issues with it.
Same.
I guess I'll get it out of the way. It is kind of cheap looking. Like, the graphics aren't necessarily bad, but the animations, for the most part, are pretty amateurish.
There is some really bad storyboarding that we'll get into later.
Yeah, the cutscenes all look kind of awful, but it's, you know, Kickstarter game, I guess. But...
yeah, you can only get so much out of a crowd-funded game.
Oh, I should mention also, this is an EGA project. Like, this is literally Castlevania and everything but name.
Yeah. Like, you'll notice that a lot of characters, even some music notes and other things, are just straight up a reference to Castlevania.
Oh yeah, like, and the game is, I would say to a detriment, like, sort of bound by law to, like, everything that Castlevania does. It, aside from, like, the new Shards, it does everything to be Castlevania again. Like, it doesn't do a lot of different stuff. Which is why, like, you know, the double jump into the dive kick, the way, like, even the way the shards are colored. The yellow ones are passive, the blue ones, you hold a button.
So there is a little bit of Portrait of Ruin in that there's a mastery system, though it's with your weapon special techniques.
Oh, yeah.
If you master a special technique, you can... so each weapon has its own set of... like, in the class, has its own set of special techniques. Unless you're the Spirit, where you get two shitty techniques. And no, actually, whips are worse. You get one whatever technique. Fuck you. But yeah, most weapons have multiple techniques spread across the different weapons in its class. Master a technique with a particular weapon, you can use it with all weapons of that class. With katanas, it is vital, because almost every other katana introduces a new technique of its own. Like, for whatever reason, katanas have by far the most techniques.
The one that I mastered for Great Swords, I fucking love to death. It is really funny. We're probably not going to see it, but we'll see.
I've actually taken more of a liking to Great Swords as a weapon now that I got the Mastery Shard.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, at full speed with Optimizer and Greatsword Mastery and the backdash, you can get away with some pretty dumb shit.
Oh yeah, the backdash. So this game apparently originally didn't have the backdash?
No, it did have the backdash. I think, like, they were considering it just giving it recovery, but the fans were like, no, we want it to be the fastest way to travel, like in Symphony.
Oh, I see. Gave into fandom end on that one.
Like, yeah, I think they were trying to go for more of the DS sort of backdash, where you can't just go faster by spamming it. But it's like, no, we want it to be like Symphony of the Night. They even have an achievement for backdashing spamming.
Oh, do they? Yeah, they have a lot of achievements.
I think the achievement's literally just titled Moonwalking, and there are shoes called Moonwalkers, which increase the speed of your backdash.
That's right, yeah. Another thing I have with this game is, when you take damage, there's, like, basically no knockback in certain contexts, like mostly like contact damage with another enemy. And yeah, it's weird because you can find yourself kind of stuck inside of an enemy and getting hit by it a lot because you don't get like knocked away from it. And
Yeah, that is that is why, like, there should be, even for weak hits, some form of knockback.
I think you just saw it there too. Another, my big complaint with this game is that hitboxes in this game suck. Like...
Also, I just remembered I'm wrong about Moonwalkers. That was Portrait of Ruin, not this game.
There is a lot of goofy items in this one. Oh,
yeah.
Here's guns. So, much like, Aria and most games onwards, I guess. I actually don't know.
Just Aria has guns as a weapon, and Dawn.
Right.
Because it was far enough in the future to have guns.
So, yeah, we have guns in this game, and they actually give them to you really early, as you can see.
Also, Albus mode and...
Oh, yeah.
Ecclesia.
But yeah, the gun is really fucking slow, and does no damage, but, you know, infinite ammo, which...
Oh, you'll get to fix that.
Yeah. But, you would think, like, oh, what do you mean infinite ammo? It's like, there's always infinite ammo. It's like, well, there are ammo types. There's actually, like, a shitload of them. And I never used one once.
I used it after the fact, and, a certain accessory reduces ammo consumption to 0. On top of that, diamond ammo hits like a fucking truck. So combine that with, there's this one rifle that you upgrade with bitcoins.
Oh,
Yes, there is a crafting material that comprised of 8 bitcoins, 16 bitcoins, and 32 bitcoins. I just called them the bitcoins to be cute.
yeah, it's really funny because the 16-bit coins and the 32-bit coins are still using... They're not even 8-bit graphics, they're just like, you know, digitized graphics
Pixels.
that are, yeah, really pixelated looking. It's just silly. But, here we have a whip, it's really slow. It has a nice range, I guess, but it's slow. Doesn't really worth it.
From my testing, I am not fond of whips, unless there's, like, some whip I'm overlooking.
But yeah, hitboxes in this game really, really suck. Like...
As you saw there.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that, like, jump attacks will just not hit because the hitboxes are really tiny. As well as, I just think Miriam will not stop sticking out her hurt box into shit. Like, she constantly gets hit by things, like, standing still, because she just leans the fuck into them, and it's really annoying.
So, Sleeping Beauty, you've decided to awaken. Well, you're too late. I caught Lunala from Pokemon.
Also, the story is bad.
So you know every Metroidvania so far? Kind of the same style of story.
Yeah, really.
Like, why is my friend suddenly doing this? Oh, they're being controlled by the main evil.
This can't be the only game where, like, you get the good ending by fighting the mind control guy, and then at the last second you, like, hit the thing controlling him. I know, like, with Richter, you just had to hit Shaft, but...
Yeah, Shaft's orb.
In this one, you have to actually weaken him, and then suddenly the moon turns red, and you have to slash it with the specific sword. It's fucking weird. Getting ahead of myself.
Oh yeah, Jeebel's just absolutely not Dracula, we swear.
Yeah, this look is something. Same with the whatever the fuck it is that's next to him.
I just call it Lunala. Just reminds me of the Pokemon Lunala. I think that's actually the final boss of the 8-bit games, by the way. Well, the Curse of the Moon. I haven't played the second one yet. I haven't even cleared all the difficulties in the first one yet.
Yeah, this looks like a Trials of Mana boss or something.
And I was also wearing a shower cap.
His voice is alright.
Was he like hanging out on her ship the entire time, just waiting to monologue in front of her like this?
Wait, what was he doing here anyway?
I guess summoning demons and causing trouble? I don't... This plot is just... It's an excuse plot at the end of the day. The meat and potatoes is all the shit you can do.
I'll be honest, I actually don't remember what the villain plot is at all. Like, what is he doing here? Why is he at the castle? Why was someone mind-controlling him? I guess probably the Shardbinder shit.
Yeah, because being the Shardbinder means he can summon demons.
Anyway, this boss is silly looking.
So this is a boss, totally a boss from that Dante's Inferno game.
Well, not getting that that emblem now or whatever it's called.
The medals.
Yeah.
I still have, like, one of the problems with this boss fight is I feel it's a little bit hard to avoid damage because of how much shit is going on, that it's kind of hard to pay attention to suddenly tentacle slapping you.
Yeah, so on top of the game having like just weird hitbox design, I would also say the boss design is just pretty bad.
Honestly, though, it's really the tentacles that are the only problem I have with this boss. Everything else is telegraphed enough.
Yeah, yeah. Like, this one's fine, but... Except this attack, I don't really know what's going on there. Just like, I'd want the boat to be down here now.
She's just deliberately obscuring the screen while the things are attacking you.
Weird. But yeah, I would say the game is also mostly pretty easy. Like, you can find, we have described this game as a power trip.
Oh, I've definitely gone on a power trip in my playthrough.
Like, it might be kind of weird at first, but then, like, once you get, a shard that you're really happy with, or, you know, start upgrading one, and make it, like, really useful, then suddenly the game just becomes kind of trivial.
This game literally has a Symphony of the Night accurate Kisagrim in it.
Oh yeah, but you have to work your ass off to get it, because of crafting.
Yeah. I mean, at least you have to work for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's less convenient to get that, like, 1% drop from Shmoo in Symphony, or to craft it here. Because I think you need, like, a total of 12 items in all to craft it.
Like I said, yeah, there's a lot of drops in this game, but, luck works, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's just, especially in the early game, not the easiest thing to build luck.
Yeah, for sure. Spending a lot of time on this fight.
Fire is kind of just taking it slow. Also get ready to get nervous whenever you hear the low life sound.
I got nervous because I was like, wait, don't tell me they just fight Jeeble and then end it right there. And it's like, no, they actually get the real ending.
Oh!
Really thought we were gonna have another, problem video on our hands, but no. I'll say the one thing they do to try to make the game harder is, getting potions, like, effective potions, or having a lot of them, is, like, kind of a pain in the ass. Because, like, the high-end ones require, like, just insane crafting materials and/or a lot of money. Which,
We'll get to the food later. That's what I use to heal in bulk, because there's a particularly cheap food that is far more cost to life point efficient than any other potion.
Bloodstained.
And you can hold up to 99 of them, unlike potions that have a much smaller limit.
Why was that Solid Snake's voice?
Look, we got David Hayter, we have to use it.
But why was it there when it was set to Japanese?
We got David Hayter, we have to use it.
Alright. There are demons about.
This dub just makes Johans just feel even more out of place in this game. He just... Like, we're Stained Glass Tit Lady, we just ran into Stained Glass Dracula and Lunala, and then there's just this regular person.
Oh yeah, so we got a red shard from that boss that causes a big AoE thing that does a lot of damage but costs a lot of mana.
Yeah, I found myself favoring cost-efficient spells because you can still get a good amount of damage. Like, shards in this game in general just do a lot of damage.
I'll just spoil it, my run was basically the Mandragora thing that we saw in, I think, Dawn? For the watch that we did.
Yeah.
It was basically the same thing as that, I just worked to make it more mana efficient. That animation looked terrible.
Yeah, some pretty bad storyboarding in this.
Anyway, here are two characters.
So, hi Tits McGee. What would you even do to that thing? Distract it with a crafting system?
I don't know how to describe this lady's design. And like...
Tits?
Yeah, there's just something very strange about her posture.
I don't think I'd have a normal posture too if I had those front-loaded anvils weighing me down.
I give this game a big fat KO.
This game's disappointingly enjoyable.
That's a good way to put it, I think.
Also, I think she is one of the playable characters in the second 8-bit game.
Huh.
Yeah, he was hanging out on our boat for some reason.
I really don't see her on the left very often. God, yeah, there's just a lot of dialogue in this game.
To the point where I don't care that much for the voice acting anyway, I would just X through it once I read the dialogue box.
Yeah. I'll get ahead of it. Johannes over there is one of two kind of like shops, although he's more for the whole crafting system. And for some reason, the first like 10 times you talk to him, him and Miriam have a conversation, despite the fact that like you have to use him to craft shit. So the game is like front loaded with a lot of dialogue. Anyway, this little girl has like a really fucked up arm.
She's becoming Slender Woman. The dub actress must have been having like the time of her life when she was voicing this character, because she has this like really silly Cockney accent.
Yeah, the dub voice for the little girl is I still can't believe it's Akane from Zero Escape. That's super weird. Hello, Mace. You'll be seeing this place a lot.
Indeed.
ミリアムを一人で行かせるわけには。
ミリアムは戦闘訓練も受けていると聞いております。それであれば、私もあなたも足手まといになってしまいますわ。
I'm only trained in cooking with alchemy.
でも。
私一人で大丈夫よ。そんなに心配しないで。
I don't know how much we're going to be seeing of these menus, so I don't know how much to get into and how the system works.
そうと決まれば準備を始めましょう。
くれぐれも無理はしないでくれ。それと連戦はいつでもできるように準備しておく。何かあったら必ずここに戻ってくるんだ。
わかったわ。
怪我しないでね。強いお姉ちゃん。
任せて。
That voice sounds a lot more fitting. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I just can't unhear the dub.
No.
At least for that character.
Waystone, it's a library card.
You forgot to unselect the thing with limited ammo.
Fuck those lanterns. Let me tell you a little bit about capitalism.
Since this is your first time here, let me have more voice acting.
So yeah, this lady sells a lot of stuff. I think we just skipped past the part where she explained how selling stuff worked. Mostly as a way to explain why she's selling you things. But no one cares.
How skinny do you think her arms are under that sleeve?
Yeah, damn.
It's like one of my stick figures, but fully rendered.
You could do
right
fan
down to
art
the
of her and it would look exactly the same.
Right down to the exaggerated chest.
And then across the hall is the guy you take all your items to craft shit.
So, welcome to crafting, because this is an indie game, of fucking course it has crafting.
I mean, to be fair, the last few Castlevanias did too. Or no, not Portrait.
Yeah. Well, not Portrait. I mean, there were fetch quests, but not crafting.
Yeah, yeah. Dawn and Ecclesia did.
Yeah, Ecclesia. It's kind of a fetch quest that results in crafting. It's like, hello, I will give you this accessory that'll draw men to you. Give me 5 emeralds.
So, we can craft weapons. It's as you'd expect. You can craft food, which largely uses a lot of materials that you find and some that you can buy. You can craft upgrades for your shards, as we explained, increases like their utility mostly. And you can dismantle things if you're crazy.
I actually, because I got a shard that basically multiplies my gold drops, I got to the point where I could just casually buy the item you need to dismantle stuff.
Oh yeah, you like fucked over the economy in this game pretty hard, but
yeah.
Because what is it, like you equip it, and then the candles outside this room, even, will each drop like 100 or 500 gold?
And most of the time, it'll be 1,000 or 2,000.
If you level it up, yeah, I think. Because I don't think I ever got that number, but I didn't also level it up yet, so...
So, yeah, my strategy for crafting stuff became, get the drops I need for whatever material I get, craft that, disassemble that, and when you craft something, it will be sold by Dominique from now on. Oh, this lady. I like that in both language tracks, she is hype as fuck. I wish this game had a play as her mode. where she just goes out and kills those murderers dead.
Yeah, so she gives you a lot of kill quests, and after this initial one, she every time you ask her for something, she's like, "Please avenge this name of Castlevania character. Kill those murderers dead."
She's my favorite character in this game.
She's great. And if you kill those enemies, you'll get an item.
The ultimate item she gives you, I think, is the like. I could not interrupt that. I'm sorry.
She does that exact line every single time,
and it never sounds less hype. I love that line to death. But yeah, I think the ultimate reward, if I recall right, that she gives you is an absurdly powerful sword. Like, oh god, it does a lot of damage. And it also has the Alucard sword special attack, except it also increases your chance of getting an item dropped from the enemy, because it has the pickpocket sort of power.
Oh, the bandit blade, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, if you craft any food or weapons, you can, you can buy them again at Dominique's shop. And, food, what it does is, the first time you eat a piece of food, it permanently increases a stat. So there's like 50 different types of foods that you can, get the recipes for, because there's like recipe book items. And so throughout the entire game, you're collecting all of these items, and then all of them can be utilized to craft weapons, craft food to permanently increase your stats, enhance shards, and also there's a dismantling system, but no one cares. I mean, I know ARPA got use out of it because, you know, you can kind of abuse this game's mechanics a little bit, but I just like the factoid that when I was looking at the achievement stats for this game, there were more people who beat the game than there were people who dismantled a few items. Because,
what are the percentage of people who got the all items achievement? Because when I saw that was an achievement, I had a seizure.
Oh, I'm sure it's like a decimal of a percent. That's one of those achievements that like fucking nobody gets. Oh, that's
like, on top of the fact that there are way too many items, I'm pretty sure the boss medals count as those items.
Right.
And we'll soon see from the way the bosses are designed, even with all this power the game gives you, that sounds like a soft resetting hell.
So if you're curious why the dismantling system is so bad, what it does is you can take basically any item that is an ingredient, so like food and weapons, you can turn it into the things that you would use to craft it. So you would, turn it into its components. The problem is that in order to do that, you also have to give, usually 9 Alkahest, which is a very expensive item, or a rare drop from certain enemies. So
that's nothing. Wait till he starts asking for like 20 plus for some of the more get stuff material and get stuff dismantlings.
Yeah, no, it's this thing that, like, you need a ridiculous amount of them, and so again, unless you're actually willing to like go through to max out shards that increase your money gain, or just like have insane luck, you're probably not going to have all the Alcast you need to dismantle almost anything. And what they actually get you for most items is just like a couple of ingredients. So it's just weird because it isn't really necessary, but it is so poorly implemented that you won't use it anyway. So yeah.
So we just got a Bitcoin. They are used. Were they supposed to be? Were they backer weapons that you craft with them?
Oh, I have no
I
idea.
forgot what they're. I forgot what their deal is exactly, but there are unique weapons that you craft with just an 8-bit coin. And then you can craft them into their stronger versions with the 16-bit and the 32-bit coin. Now, granted, these bitcoins are all, like, it's already the 8-bit coin is like 4,000 gold a pop. Each one is like multiple times the amount of the last.
It was something like 24k and 64k for the other two.
Yeah. But if you are like extremely patient enough to grind that much gold in the early game, you have some pretty damn powerful Disc 1 nukes at your disposal.
Basically, yeah, like, you have to... I think you basically have to abuse the shard that increases your money gain in order to actually get a decent income in this game. Because from what I could tell, otherwise, you basically never have money.
So, to get... I mean, it's like Castlevania. If you have full MP, then you're always going to get coins from the candles. It's just until you get Augment Gold, you're getting like 1 to 5 at a time. Maybe sometimes 10.
Yeah.
And rare occasions 50. And if the planets align, you'll get 100.
There's just, like, random chances all over this game. And it's like... It's not like in Dawn where the luck is, like, terrible, but it is just... Everything is like a rare drop. So you could go through this game and get very little of important items, or you could actually get lucky and get a lot of really cool stuff. But you're more than likely going to want to grind a lot of different things in order to craft, like, food to get permanent stat upgrades, because one of the stat upgrades is mana per second. And, that gets really strong, so you really want those.
Also, the only way to, like, increase your natural luck stat.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because luck does not increase by leveling up, which I guess makes realistic sense, but still annoying.
Yeah.
Like, working out, you'll get stronger and healthier and stuff. And as you grow wiser, but I don't think in time you get luckier. If anything, this world has taught me in time you get less lucky.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously you have to wear certain clothes to get luckier. Or eat
Yeah,
certain foods.
I have to go around in a pirate hat for maximum luck, clearly.
Oh yeah, and also backer portraits. We'll see more of them later.
They amuse me in how contemporary they look.
Yeah.
And also that some of them are just straight up the backer's cat.
I am in blood. Okay, bye. Oh boy. I'm just gonna say random shit from this point on. The blue shards are weirdly, like, restrained. There's not a secret in any of these save rooms, I don't think. Why did you keep doing that?
I just feel like the player just has a knee-jerk reaction to every wall in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of started doing that too.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame the player.
But, blue shards are, like... There's just not many of them. There's, like, 8 or something.
It's the old button shard.
Yeah, yeah. Like, there were more important ones in Aria and Dawn. There was even, like, progression ones with, like, flying armor. But, yeah, there's not that many in this game. Also, for what it's worth, in this game, bullet souls, or bullet shards, are, not used by pressing up and attack. They're actually used by their own button.
Yeah. Also, I gotta bring up the soundtrack in this game. Like, you'll hear a lot of, like, nods to Castlevania melodies. Like, the opening for this one is definitely like the castle entrance from Symphony of the Night. Although, the chorus just reminds me of Crucified by Army of Lovers for some reason.
Oh yeah, and you'll see a lot of ammo capacity upgrades, and again, you're mostly ever going to use your ammo whenever you have the thing that gives you infinite ammo, so every single one of those upgrades is just going to frustrate you.
There's a randomizer mode. I feel like the ammo capacity upgrades exist to troll the shit out of you in randomizer mode.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details, but I remember Soap telling me about it, and it's actually not very good, the randomizer mode. Like, I really like the idea that randomizer is built into this game, but it's apparently not implemented all that interestingly.
Also, I feel like this game's speedrun mode is a formality, given all this grinding in the game.
Yeah?
Oh hey, it's Sypha from Curse of the Moon.
IFA, you're new.
Why did they give Alfred such a cool voice in this language track?
10年前のこと聞いたわ。なぜそんなひどいことを。
そんな昔のことを今さら語るつもりはない。
I don't understand what this asshole is doing.
He's the Albus of this game. His long game makes no fucking sense and is extremely stupid.
Albus, Alfred, and checks.
Yeah, now I want to hear this fucking voice say, Max shot!
Oh yeah, Johannes can just get anywhere in this, like, horribly, like, demonic castle as long as you're there. It's pretty weird.
It's the power of alchemy and that casual strut. He's after the Dominus.
あの書は我々が持ってはいけない。またあの悲劇を繰り返すつもりか。
問答拉致もなし。まさか邪魔をする気ではあるまいな。
邪魔？
私の力はお前がよく知っているはずだ。ミリアムと共に。
Leave this place.
死にたくなければな。
Kill bosses in seconds in Curse of the Moon, don't mess with me.
嫌な予感がして来てみたら、あいつがいるとは。
ねえ、ロガエスの書って何なの？
ああ、もともと僕たちのギルドが持っていた精霊を召喚できる。
You see, Miriam, it is a random MacGuffin we put in this game because it's a Castlevania plot.
その書の力で君たちの結晶を触媒にして引き起こされたものだったんだ。
そんなものがあったなんて。
I know, but we just need something, a plot device, if you will. I somehow saw it over the giant fucking Pokemon that was next to him.
それが自然だとは思っていたけど、やっぱりそうだったか。儀式で生き残った時に手に入れていたということか。
アルフレッドも止めなきゃ。
いや、君はジーベルを追ってくれ。アルフレッドより先にショー。
Jeeble is also a recruitable character in the Curse of the Moon. I think his function was the Alucard.
ドミニクにも相談してみる。それじゃあ僕は一旦戻
Where it's like a mix of movement and magic.
Ah. Yeah, it's weird that, like, foot weapons are more of, like, a thought-out thing in this game, because you just don't want to actually get near anything, because you're just going to take damage from it, because you keep sticking your damn hurt box into it.
I'd say if it wasn't for the fact that there's an accurate Kisagrim in the game, I'd say Katana is probably head and shoulders over the others in terms of weapon types, because of how many goddamn techniques they have.
There's also just really strong ones.
And that also the damage and attack speed ratio is definitely in their favor.
Yeah. Darn the silence, that means we can't cast any spells here.
So, we have Oons, but we also have that flying pig up there.
Flying pig is really funny.
I feel like the player just wanted to demonstrate what that looks like, because I don't think that's a good shard to use against that.
Absolutely not. It's good on anything that stands still. Especially if you, again, level it up.
Imagine anti-airing with 2A.
These guys have a good shard, too.
Yeah, I put that shard to good use, for sure.
Barbados?
Yeah, Barbados Goetia, don't use an item in front of him. Only Mighty Combat's gonna get that joke. Oh, by the way, in the dub, Barbados has a hilarious death scream.
Oh,
It just goes...
Yeah, some enemies are dubbed. The guys with the big knights aren't dubbed, and their death cry is pretty great too.
So yeah, there are keys to open lock rooms that lead to optional bosses. That's the voice. Is that Mr. Hart?
Yeah, so he literally quotes the Charon from Symphony. This game is pretty big on some boldface references. When I mentioned the quest that one lady gives you, I made a joke about it, but a lot of her quests are for like avenging the deaths of like certain characters, and damn near all of them are like characters in Castlevania games. Like there's a Richter and a Sypha and stuff like that.
Unfortunately, there's no Hugh Baldwins or Bondage Go enemies to kill for vengeance. By the way, don't step into those Iron Maidens.
Don't.
I said don't. Okay.
Don't. Yeah, that's a thing that you can. I did not figure out the way you're supposed to get past those because I didn't think it was obvious, but we'll see it.
And what you definitely don't do is try to hide from Danielle on Haunting Ground in one of those. Is this player, like, trying to prove that the fly trap is good?
I mean, it's not bad, but not when you use it like this.
I haven't really used it myself. I imagine if you rank it up, you're gonna get, like, this big-ass fly trap, though.
I actually got good use out of it against your favorite boss.
Oh, you mean actual favorite?
Your quotable one.
Yeah.
Just fuck that room, I guess. I don't know. Wait, no, okay, fine.
I'm not gonna hear the English version of her. Instead, I'm gonna hear the strangely creepy this language track version of her.
Oh god, yeah. That fucking line.
I wonder how many hours the player would have saved if they didn't try to use Fly Trap against mobile enemies.
Or the foot weapon.
Morningstern, which is a club, and blunt damage is good.
Yep. How is this the fastest playthrough?
This is leaving me, like, morbidly interested in how fast can I clear this game.
Yeah? Maybe I should have speedrun this.
Apparently, the actual speedrun just relies entirely on shards because of this crafting system.
Yeah.
Like, good luck relying on a weapon for the DPS you need. Also, ow, my eyes, the moon.
I didn't notice her, that effect in the pause menu. It's interesting. There's this weird thing where, if you use the right stick to, like, change or, like, move her model around in that menu, it, like, will always stay there until you move it back. So, like, if you just, like, I don't know, aim at her fucking head or whatever, then every single time you pause the game, it's gonna show a close-up of her head.
Kind of interested in how this game was programmed, because it has its share of less than polished moments.
Yeah, that like that. There's also something I noticed in this game that's annoying to me, where, like, you'll have a shard that seems to have basically infinite range, but as long as something is not on screen, you cannot hit it.
And this game does have its share of flying enemies that like to go out of bounds, which I wish people who make Metroidvanias would move past that.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so this game has another thing that's, great. It's called, level design. And it's bad.
Yeah, like, it already does not waste time. Like, putting you in a castle where, with your limited mobility, you fall off of something, you have to take the long way back around again.
Yeah, because she fell there to get these items, and now she has to go all the way back through the path she just came through to get back up there, and I'm pretty sure that's how you progress through the game.
And then there are the levels that have quote-unquote challenges, which are more like things that are just there to annoy you. We'll get to those. So yeah, some foot weapons do slash and blunt at the same time because they have, like, hidden blades in the shoe.
Oh yeah.
Sabnock, kind of a good enemy to get a shard from because it gives you sword mastery. Sword mastery is a prerequisite to craft greatsword mastery and katana mastery. So basically this guy is 3 weapon mastery shards in one.
Mastery in this instance not meaning like the you get like command attacks that you get for the other weapons, but it's a passive shard that just increases your damage and your attack speed with those weapon types.
And a later enemy will have the Optimizer Shard, which is mastery of all weapons, basically. Damage and attack speed for everything. So... And here's a mechanic I should get into, because at first Calexo didn't realize it was a mechanic, but then Johans told me about it, actually, in one of the hints.
Yeah, oops, I ignored them.
When you enhance a yellow shard all the way to 9, it becomes a clear shard, which is a always active shard, unless you turn it off in the menu.
Actually, I should clarify, it doesn't become a clear shard, it creates a copy of itself as a cleared shard, because you can still equip that passive in addition to being a clear shard, and that doubles its effect.
Yeah, and if you have Optimizer, you basically have the weapon mastered times 3.
So there's a thing in this game where passive shards, like, kinda suck, in the sense that, like, most of them are going to be resist elements, increase stat by a certain small number, or mastery of a weapon type. And that makes up, like, that's like 24 of them right there, between all the different elements, all the different weapon types, and all the different stats. So, and then there's some other, like, pretty useful ones, but a grand majority of them are just, you're gonna be like, oh, here's the resist for this element, great. And it's like, it seems like it kind of sucks at first, and then you find out that when you get it rank 9, it's permanent. So...
yeah, it's fucking broken.
Except that you have to get it to rank 9, which involves, you know, grinding for resources. Because, Well, actually, a lot of the resist ones are different, but a lot of the shards, the first 3 levels will require, like, a relatively, like, early game recipe or ingredient, and then the next 3 require something a little more in-depth, and then the last 2 levels will require, like, a late-game item. So, you have to... And they're all, like, rare drops. Like, a few of them you can buy from the shop, and most of them are rare drops from enemies. So, if you want to do what I was trying to do, and get all of the yellow shards to rank 9, you're gonna spend a hell of a lot of time grinding resources.
Yeah, I'm gonna have nightmares about gold and orichalcum.
And keep in mind that not only do you have to rank them up, if you want them to be more effective, this applies for every shard, you have to get more of that shard. So you have to go around killing a bunch of that enemy. And if the enemy is like a boss enemy that like... yeah.
Speaking of bosses,
見えるさ。そのまがまがしい木。いや、魔力か。貴様、シャードリンカーだな。
そうだけど、あなたは誰？
Snake Miriam kept you waiting, huh?
Yeah, this guy is voiced by David Hayter in the dub.
Also, he is the main character of the 8-bit games, and I guess he's kind of a Belmont in his own right, too.
He is also a really badly designed boss fight that I hate.
The thing is, he is obscenely difficult for the second boss of the game.
He has a hell of a lot of moves, and he has this thing too where, like, the main thing you want to do is jump over him whenever he does basically anything, but occasionally he'll also pull out, like, an uppercut and just knock you out of the sky. Oh yeah, this bullshit. Oh, you can get behind him, I didn't know that!
Yeah. You can dead angle him. It's just kind of hard to, because sometimes he'll be like, I changed my mind, Shoryuken!
Yep. They also, he will start countering, just suddenly. So, like, if you're in his face attacking him, you may, in fact, just get countered out of the blue. And, he also becomes, like, immune to projectile attacks. You know, again, unless if you're in the front of him. It's just... he just has all this shit. And he does a lot of damage. And that attack where he, like, kind of hookshots up and then slashes down, he'll sometimes turn around. It's been inconsistent for me. And, so it's just, like... it's just a mess. Like, he just kind of does shit. And it's just annoying.
Yeah, don't attack him when he's taunting, he'll counter.
Yeah.
You'd think that means hit him, but no. Taunting is safe in this game.
You know, he is in counter stance even when he's doing that taunt. So, like, when he starts doing that, you cannot react to it. If it's, you know, if you're in the middle of an attack.
I mean, it's a fighting game reversal, clearly. You pressed a button.
This thing, he even has, like, Demon Teleport, so he has, like, fighting game moves. And
Okay,
you're a fucking Castlevania character.
Okay, you can avoid the counter if you hit him from behind, so... get him from behind, it's mandatory.
Oh yeah, don't get in a corner with this guy, because, then you're basically forced into a 50-50 between him doing the uppercut and him just kicking your ass.
We even have to use fighting game terms to describe what he does, it's great. Okay, that was a fun case of clowning on him. Like, all this shit, and he's the second boss of the game.
This is not the last time you fight him, either.
Well, the next time you fight him, he's extremely easy.
Yeah, but because by that point you're cracked out.
Yeah. Also, you have just a means to completely trivialize his moveset.
それを欲するものよ。
俺にとっては全部同じだがな。
Yeah, like all the, like, characters who are playable in Curse, who are bosses in this game, because you're gonna fight Alfred and
And Jeeble.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
対象ではありませんわ。
They have just like a ton of fucking moves. And I think it's like, oh,
Also-
we're playing homage to their movesets in those games, but
この戦いで
they just went way
実力を
overboard.
つけているわ。
Also, Zangetsu is a playable character.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You, like, even from the get-go, you could just start the game as this guy.
And there's one more boss that you can play as. And then there's Boss Revenge, where there's 3 other bosses that you can play as to fight the other bosses.
I never did that. I actually never played as Zangetsu either.
あ
Forgot
な
to
た
do
の
that.
仕事は
I played a
ある程
little
度
bit
の
of
決めることよ。
my favorite boss.
シャードリンカ
Ugh.
死にたくなければ二度と俺の前に
I hate this
現れ
guy.
ることだ
Like,
ドミニク
this game does a disservice to him as the playable character of Curse because
だがそれ以
he
外
sucks in this game a lot.
俺の好きにさせてもらう
He's not very good at giving hints. I'll spoil that much.
様が失礼なことを。大丈夫。
His boss fight sucks. He
誰が何
he just does a lot of stupid shit.
私はあなたを信じますわ。
I'm kind of impressed he manages to be more socially inept than my OC.
そう言ってもらえるだけで救われるわ。彼は遠い東の国から来たデーモンハンターなのです。10年前の戦い。いいえ、それ以前から悪魔に大切なものを奪われたせいで、それに関わるすべてを憎んでいるのです。でも、その力は本物ですわ。
We just
それ
saw
は
that.
戦ってわかった。
Thank you, Miriam.
しかもまだ本気じゃなかった。彼の心に。
Second boss and he started blocking, countering my moves? Like, what the hell, Dominique?
では、そろそろ戻りますわね。案を残していますので。
Yeah, the other, like, the NPCs in this game just, like, fucking just wind up in places in this game. It's weird.
It's the whole Maria thing in Symphony of the Night, but on absolute crack.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's happened in other Castlevanias plenty, but it's just, like, an overdrive in this one.
Just watch Arikato is suddenly going to fall in while walking. We didn't need the glossary on everybody, but thank you, player, for helping us with our commentary job.
Oh, we're getting ages on everybody. Good. All you fanfic writers out there, here you go!
Where's her age?
Why doesn't that lady's biography describe why she has freakish arms? Duh!
King Crimson, I activate you!
Empress Miriam.
By the way, these Blood Grinder Knights, in addition to their shard being that drill sword, they can drop it as a weapon and it's basically a chainsaw. It's really funny.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's actually one of the weapons you can craft with the 8-bit coin as well. Like, it's sort of weird that early on you can just craft a whole bunch of, like, really good items, like weapons, by just having that, like, that one 8-bit coin in the, low deck, because you don't get 8-bit coins, like, anywhere else in the game. You have to buy them.
It gives you a... I would say free Disc 1 nuke, but it becomes a Disc 1 nuke when you upgrade them with the 16 and 32-bit coins, which at this point in the game requires insane patience because of how much gold they cost.
Yeah.
So, those 3 rings is good because they are a crafting material for a lot of items.
So we got Lisa, Simon, Edward was also one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to point out names I recognize.
Also, we have Dan Hibiki. We have to avenge him. And his serious legs. Also, yeah, he comments on when you visit him.
The fact that he didn't go into like a diatribe about something means I think we've just skipped all of his dialogue.
It's morning, and the dictionary definition of the morning is, no, please don't. Oh, Red Beast's Edge is interesting because you can upgrade it or you can not upgrade it. Instead, get 100% of the souls, and it becomes even stronger than if you upgraded it. So yeah, the Blood Grinder, I think, is the stronger, viable chainsaw.
Yep. Yeah, this whole area here, you can tell is just the Bitcoin weapons. Oh, hey. Look what we're getting.
よしできた。
ねえ、10年前のことをもう少し詳しく教えて。
もともとの発端は富ある者たちの興味が精神文化から。
Oh no, that's right. It's every time you leave a conversation with him.
そして錬金術の研究には多くの資金が必要だ。
Still got all this shit to get through.
今まで得ていた既得権益をどうしても手放したくなかった。だから精神文化の消失は悪魔をこの世界に呼ぶことだと警鐘を鳴らし続けた。でもそんな簡単に人の考えは変わらない。だから
I would say this game is like hastily put together, but like is very fun.
Yeah, we talk a lot of shit about this game, but don't get us wrong, we enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, like I do not regret playing this game in the slightest. It was actually a lot of fun.
It's disappointingly enjoyable.
That's kind of what I mean when I said like that's actually kind of true. It's like it's just such a it is not a well put together game, but damn if it isn't fun.
It works. This is the game of making lemonade from lemons as opposed to Mighty Number 9, which somehow made a forest fire.
Yeah.
Okay, this weapon, I will admit, is a bit annoying to wield because of the noise.
Well, no, if you're not standing still, it just goes away.
Okay, so that lady over there, this is where you start crafting food, and she will ask for food items, but she won't tell you what they are. You have to go by their icon.
Yeah, she like describes them, and it's like, oh, maybe I have to figure it out. And no, it just shows the icon in like a thought bubble. It's like, okay, gotcha.
She's half the people I had to deal with when I worked at a pizza place.
I get the feeling that they originally had it where she was just the clues that she gives you, and eventually they're like, no, we need to like help people out because no one's having fun trying to figure out all these items.
Yeah.
I never did it, but whenever you actually go to her and be like, she's like, oh, did you bring the food? Like, you can just give her anything, meaning that, like, you could give her the wrong thing, so, yeah.
You give her the wrong thing, but she's like, I'm sorry to bother you, but that's not it.
I don't know if that wastes the item.
It doesn't.
Oh, good.
They're not that evil. By the way, her quests are worth it in the end because she's the one that gives you the recycle hat, which means your ammo doesn't get reduced anymore when you wear it. So, get that Bitcoin rifle and the diamond rounds, and you'll just one-shot every normal enemy from afar.
I don't remember Anne having so many lines. I just remember her always saying, I hope you're ready to loosen up those purse strings.
They had better voice performance in this version than the English version, though Susie was not that bad in English. So, for giving her jelly donuts, I mean rice balls,
Cookies?
she just... or as Jaden Yu-Gi-Oh! GX would say, whatever these things are. Yeah, and she gives you a thorn whip, so she just casually has one of those to give to somebody.
Yeah, she has amazing items for some reason.
I just happen to have these katanas lying around. If you give me a pizza, I'd perhaps be willing to part with one.
Another thing that I didn't actually figure out until I started New Game Plus was that there are certain shards that you can craft in, at Johannes' menu.
Oh shit, it curses?
What the fuck? That did not happen to me whenever I used it, so there's something going on there.
It must be by chance.
But yeah, they'll allow you to craft certain shards, and they usually have... They have other shards as an ingredient, but they don't actually consume those shards. You just need to have one in your inventory.
Yeah.
Which, at first it was really worrying. It's like, oh no. But it's like, no, okay. It takes it from 1 to 1, so it doesn't actually use it.
You heard me when I looked at that. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And then you found out, no, don't worry, they're not that mean. It's not Dawn of Sorrow all over again.
Yeah, God lord. I'm just remembering that the double jump shard, because this game has just like all the mobility options you'd expect, except for that transformation, actually. But
it's okay, we have Beam of Light transformation.
Yeah, there's a high jump, and it is accessible like through having the double jump and then getting like a rare drop from like a late game enemy. So
I remember having a hell of a time trying to read that weapon.
oh yeah.
The All for Burnt sword. Which, I had to get acquainted with because that is a crafting material for enhancing one of the shards.
Ah. Oh, it's this guy. She called
So
him an
Miriam?
idiot.
Miriam does not like this guy.
It's fashionable.
It's trend in Paris to have stained glass tits.
How did you get here?
With my speedrun tech, Miriam.
I used the succubus soul to warp through walls. Don't picture a random place in this castle.
Too late.
Yeah, congratulations. That'll get you 1/5 of an Alcahest, I think.
Alcahests, I think, are only 800 gold.
I don't know about that.
I kind of forgot what the gold value of everything is because I just blindly click buy and I have it. Because I basically have infinite gold at this point.
Yeah, I don't remember. It might be me remembering how much it costs to, like, buy enough Alcahest to dismantle something. Because, like, most of it is, like, 5.
I'm eager to see how this weapon performs when you upgrade it with the later bitcoins.
I do not know what's going on with this curse thing, because I felt like I used it enough to not have this happen.
Maybe it's only against certain enemies that would be vulnerable to it. Because it's definitely going to be one of those games where the enemy has to be vulnerable to the stats so that you can't cheese everything.
Oh yeah, curse, like, cuts your health and your mana in half?
Yeah, be careful about being hit by curse things. Especially a certain enemy that can curse you just by looking at you.
Oh, jeez.
Also, we have Jim Carrey's Riddler up there. Maybe the portrait next to him is, Anglophile. Or Nacho Kid.
I think it's, the guy from the Kill Count videos.
Killer Barbers. I got very well acquainted with those enemies because they drop the mini version of this game's Kisegrim, and you'll need 4 of them as one of the crafting materials you need for that. Also, they drop the dagger/thrusting sword expertise shard, which, yeah, I'd like to increase the speed of my stabby weapons.
Oh yeah, so the Brewer? This game fucking loves that enemy. It's a returning enemy, actually, from other Castlevania games, but now it looks like a funny, multi-legged thing.
So, I think we just killed the Max Payne portrait. So, yeah, here's this totally era-appropriate person.
Yeah, the Poltergeist enemy, which has a pretty funny shard, and it's all a bunch of backers attacking it.
My favorite has to be that one lady. I just call her Princess Samantha. That's just how contemporary she is.
This fucking guy here.
What, you don't remember him from Game of Thrones? I almost said Thrones.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch. I think this video's been good about it, which means it's probably a PC version. And for some reason, when I was watching Arpa's stream of this game on his PS4,
Yes.
What
the fuck?
I noticed a very weird thing where every time he got a shard, there's that like kind of vignette of glass, like stained glass around the screen. On Arpa's game, for some reason, it was always the wrong color.
Yeah, the color was just picked at random. Also, that enemy is a fucking boss in common enemy clothing. Don't mess with it too much.
It curses you, and it does a shitload of damage.
Yeah, if you get cursed, if it grabs you, it's a one-hit kill. Example of the curse right there. What is this player doing?
Trying to get past it, but, failing. Anyway, their bullet shard is the Mandragoria cry.
And I guess that's, other Riddler portraits. I feel like there's some temporal distortion going on with this playthrough.
A little bit. Also, the curse works really weirdly, in that, like, it feels like you can get cursed, but as long as you don't use your... Is that, what's his name? He's like a British comedian. Something Carr.
I wouldn't know.
I keep wanting to say Alan Carr, but that's his, like, cousin or whatever.
Oh! That's why you get the acid stream. I always thought it was weird because, like, they look like fire enemies, but they spit acid.
Yeah, that was weird.
They could do the acid spit.
Also, these rooms entirely because Castlevania.
You know, it's missing Olrock's holding CD in the middle.
I kind of just glossed over the fact that we got the shortcut. And we just got an upgrade to it. So, shortcut. It, you hold, like, L2, and it brings up a weapon wheel sort of thing for your sets. And you start out with 2, and then you get, like, extra shortcut shards lying around to increase it by 1 up till 8. And I'm pretty sure you need to do New Game Plus to get all 8. So that's weird. They work really weirdly because it affects all of your equipment and not just like your shards. And so yeah, anytime you change your loadout in any way, you have to like maintain like 5 different shortcuts, and it's just handled kind of clunkily, and I just didn't find that it worked very well.
Yeah, I barely bothered with it. Then again, it's like, I used the most broken shit in the game. Do I need to change my loadout?
Yeah, you just try to find a build that works pretty well. It's like, even just having like 2 builds, like one for like mobility and the other one for actual like fighting. It's nice fighting game attack there.
That's Vega's new 100 hand slap.
I want to, but
Yeah. I want to open the door. I can't open it.
She's just reaching out to the items like, I want you.
I want the ammo max. Get the ammo max. I can't reach the ammo max.
I want you. But yeah, this player is weird. Oh, this is a weird enemy.
So yeah, there are several enemies that are just, I'm going to render my pet and put it in this game. That's how I describe it. Okay, the player is just sassing the cat there.
Yeah, there's not only are there recolors of the cat enemy, there's a different kind of enemy in that field that I'm not going to spoil.
Also, that demon's shard is the Augment Intelligence shard. So that's a good thing to keep note of, because shards in this game are powerful, and you can make them more powerful.
But keep in mind, it's like, at first, it's like literally gives you 1 intelligence, which is, you know, pretty bad. But then it goes up to 9, I think? Just like 1 per rank.
Goes up to 9, and then also when you upgrade it with the enhancement, your casting speed increases a little.
I guess I should get out of the way that the shards are ranks are like the enhancements you get from Johannes, and then grade is how many of them you have. So the grade affects usually its strength, and then the rank affects for most things, like just its damage. Oh, this guy. I'm a good killer, Bobber. I cut off my punctuation.
I'm just a little naughty. Also, I inexplicably have Tits McGee's portrait in my shop.
Oh my god, the hairstyles.
It could be better.
I just
like
remember the so there's a some of the items you can find are key items that just give you another hairstyle, and there's like 10 of them or something. But the item, yeah, because the items go up to like 12. There's like 12 hair apparents, and if I remember correctly, hair apparent number 10 doesn't exist.
I think it was 5.
Yeah, there was just one of them, just a random number. Just, oh, this is different. Okay.
It annoys me that they don't take off the hat during this. You have to do it yourself.
This is a much earlier version of this, so I guess this is like before some DLC or something.
Yeah, in the PS4 version I was playing, it has a hue and saturation slider instead of pick a color.
Yeah, yeah. You also could do like both shades or both tones of her hair instead of having these like presets.
Hey, anyone want to take a wild guess as to what I made my Miriam's palette color scheme? Hint, my every Mugen character has this palette. In fact, it was years ago, it was constantly my avatar.
Strike a pose. Yeah, again, you can hold up to strike a pose, and if you keep holding it, she like just turns her back to the camera, which is like, there's just something weird going on where this lady and Shanoa both like, hey, check out my back, and it's like, all right, I gotcha.
Jacob Crow must love the Shanoa and this character.
But you know, I just love the fact that there's one of the heir appearance is just not in the game. And it's not like there's a missing slot or anything, it's just, like on the hair select, it's just there's an item numbering error. And it's like,
Also,
good job.
Also, there's like, one of the hairstyles is just a slightly straighter version of her original hairstyle.
Yeah, no,
Like, really?
The choices kind of suck.
The only one I really liked was the kind of punk-looking one. I always call it the Harpy Lady one, because I'm pretty sure there was a Harpy Lady that had exactly that hairstyle in Yu-Gi-Oh!
There's also,
that's
like,
a voice.
very specific costume pieces that, like, actually affect your outfit and, like, nullify these choices, so it's odd.
I should mention customization. For the most part, you can only customize her head. There's only a couple, like, chest pieces that change what she's wearing.
Yeah, yeah. You also have the scarf as well. But...
yeah, scarf. I count that as head. Also, I guess the weapon, especially if they're the boots, do change.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which makes me really sad that the toy boots item in this game is one of the weaker shoes.
Yeah.
Because I do like how they look. I think I would just wear that for fashion and rely entirely on shards, so maybe it's not a lost cause. So this is the third boss. I want you all to see how much quote-unquote harder it is than the second boss.
We'll see how this player performs with it, but I damn near got a medal on this guy the first time I fought him. But then, you know, your hitbox. Yeah, stuff like that, like he's just turning around, but his hitbox changes wildly because of it, and it just, like, it just doesn't feel right.
Policy of truth is not this game's hitbox design. Okay, for the record, I killed this boss in just seconds. I just true arrowed it to death.
You know, this is, a surprising amount of struggling, but as you can probably tell, it's not, for good reasons.
This still is much easier than the Zangetsu fight, regardless.
Yeah. So our first blue, and, yep, it's a, rarely used progression item. In fact,
it's still the one blue shard I just use more than others.
Actually, no, you can turn into attack, I think? Or, at the very least, you can... I don't know.
Okay, now we have the green shard. These are familiars. We have a handful of familiars in the game, and actually, all of them except the fairy, or maybe if I level up the fairy it'll be useful, but all of them are useful in their own right.
Yeah.
I mostly use the Bloodseeker, the sword familiar, because the voice acting makes me laugh my ass off.
Like in the
English, in the English dub, the fucking sword familiar just sounds like Nathan Explosion. Just go, die! Blacker than the blackest black, times infinity.
Yeah, the Silver Knight's pretty great. I got a lot of use out of him. He occasionally blocks projectiles, and he has some neat attacks. Oh yeah, there are chairs all over this fucking game that you could sit in. Because... Bye.
I grabbed the thing and distorted time and space.
I was not supposed to grab that, I'm sorry.
I grabbed Diavolo's cherished, whatever that thing is.
Actually, I have no idea what it is.
Heavy object.
Yeah, you, like, move shit, like, a couple of times in the entire game with that. There's like a couple of those heavy objects, and then there's like 2 Iron Maidens. Which, by the way, yeah, the Iron Maiden, you're supposed to pick it up with this hand. And the only way you're supposed to know that is because they both have like a similar weird outline. There he is.
For a lot of players, since this is one you don't have to grind for to just get, gonna be the default familiar of choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just passed by a portrait, which I assume is Candyman, who I guess backed this game. I love how you get a lot of, like, irons and mithrates and bronzes in this game, and you need to use each and every single one of them. Because they are that common of a crafting material. I like how the player just doesn't have it in them to kill the cat enemy.
I didn't even realize you could walk through it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's easy to assume that it has a hitbox, but no, it's in the Z-axis. I always found the map's way of, like, pointing out where you are confusing.
It's weird.
Because you also have, like, a trail. It's, like, trying to be useful, but at the same time it just kind of makes the map screen more chaotic to me.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with it, but I mostly just didn't even notice it. Yeah, in terms of progression, we're gonna use this blue shard to move that thing out of the way of the horse and buggy that we saw earlier. That, I think, is maybe it.
Yeah.
It's just weird because blue shards are just really underutilized in this game. And most of the ones I found I didn't think were very good.
I mean, there's also that one blatantly overpowered blue shard.
Don't know if it's overpowered, but it is pretty good.
Funny thing is, because I found so much more broken shit, I barely used it.
Yeah, no, there's just a lot of different ways to break this game. That's why I say, like, it's not that broken because there are just better things, because there's a lot of good things.
So, you mentioned your build. My build, at first I started kind of like a rogue. I was using a thrusting sword, and I had the thrusting sword mastery, and I also used true arrow, so basically combo attacks, hitting a bunch of times at once. But then I mastered the katana, and I started using that a lot. And then finally it's like, fuck it, I'm going full Soten Kisagrim. Also Cerulean Splash, that was my shard of choice for a while.
Yeah, you were definitely using a lot more of like a strength build, and I was pretty heavy on just using intelligence the entire game.
Yeah, you were the mage, I was the, I guess, rogue or bard.
I don't want to spoil it in case we actually see it, because it's a thing, but the blue shard that I got a lot of use out of in this game was basically just like, it turns intelligence into, like, your basic attack. So I was just using, like, magical offense, or, like, magical, like, melee attacks. Which...
I compare that shard to a Circle of the Moon card. It absolutely is one of those.
Absolutely, yeah.
Except you can actually conceivably make it drop this time. Oh yeah, these are familiars. At least at level 1, they're shit garbage.
They're fairies. They do what you'd expect, basically.
I do gotta look into see if an upgraded version's at least useful, aside from doing something cute. Down there is a piano. If you have a fairy familiar, you can start playing it while the fairy's singing.
Well, you could play it regardless, but yeah, if the fairy's there, she'll sing along. And yeah, I figure we're gonna see it. Or not.
I don't think the Silver Knight's a very good singer.
Yeah, there's like potions that only the fairy can use. Actually, I think you can use them, but like the fairy will use them on you.
So yeah, they're basically saying that, like in Order of Ecclesia, there's restockable chests.
Oh yeah, yeah. The blue chests will refill like I think basically every few minutes. It's like I think it's on a timer because it isn't just like moving out of the room or whatever, but it will respond pretty quickly.
It's on time and also reloading the room.
Right, yeah.
I think both.
Yeah, you will have to reload the room, but yeah. I find it really annoying that the map shows the chests and doesn't differentiate between like one-time chests and blue chests. So like if you don't pick up a blue chest when you go through a room, it'll suddenly be marked on your map as if you missed something, and it's like, oh no, that's just a reoccurring chest that mostly just has like, you know, crafting items in it.
So there's this game's version of the Catablapis, and they drop crafting materials for food recipes that you can't buy. So I will always remember them for that. Also, that particular version of the Catablapis drops the alchemy shard, which sometimes you get more out of your crafting. Very rarely. Also, that shard is obscenely expensive to rank up.
Yeah, I didn't even really mess with it. So I didn't even realize that the viewer armor is like the boomerang armor, because I never actually let it attack before.
We got the Caraboos. Caraboss, whatever. And the player presumably is like, no, it's alright, I have the Silver Knight.
Wait a second. I better go down here and get to a dead end. Bridge of Evil, aka train station. Okay, bye.
I guess the player was trying to remember which they were supposed to go to first.
Yeah.
What are all these bridges? These are the bridges of evil. You must complete all the map tiles on each.
Yeah, the train station has a really dumb progression lock that I hate, but we'll get to that.